There's a new ceasefire in Syria brokered between the US and Russia, respectively the godfathers of the opposition and regime. It's yet another diplomatic attempt to end the carnage on the ground, and may lead to unprecedented military cooperation between the two superpowers against ISIL if the ceasefire holds for 7 consecutive days. But doubts remain. And this is simply because every other diplomatic initiative has led nowhere. 5.5 wasted years of talk floundering every time on the eventual fate of Bashar al-Assad, the president who refuses to go. At the start of 2012, Kofi Annan, as UN envoy, tried to get a ceasefire going. It fell apart on April the 12th after only a few hours. The following year, a chemical attack in a Damascus suburb killed 1,400 people and is blamed on the regime. For the West, this is a flagrant breaching of its red lines. But Assad and his Russian allies blame the rebels.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
America is on the verge of authorizing airstrikes, but after 3 days of talks in Geneva, this is only just avoided by a deal between the US and Russia that sees Syria dismantle its chemical warfare capability. In January 2014, the two superpowers finally managed to get the Syrian government and opposition into negotiations. But within 2 weeks, the 31st of January, everyone's gone home and are at daggers drawn again. UN mediator Lakhdar Brahimi was left to announce the talks' failure to the world.
I'm very, very sorry, and I apologize to the Syrian people that their hopes, which were very, very high that something will happen here.
Brahimi, who had replaced Kofi Annan, takes the failure hard and resigns on May the 13th. Staffan de Mistura takes over for the United Nations.
Will those in favor of the draft...
For the first time, the UN Security Council manages to vote a Syrian resolution in December 2015, setting out a roadmap to a political solution. It lays out a process, 6 months to establish a transitional government, with elections in the 18 months after that. On February the 27th, a new ceasefire takes effect, but it specifically excludes extremist jihadi groups like ISIL or the al-Nusra Front. However, repeated ceasefire violations on all sides sees the truce shatter. In April, talks resumed in Geneva under de Mistura's mediation, but only after 5 days the opposition walked out on the 27th, furiously accusing the regime of ceaselessly bombing civilians.